Hello there, everyone. This is Lorraine with Mayfield Elite Travel, and I am here to show you today how to do your Carnival check-in. So before we start the Carnival check-in, there are two very important things that you're going to need. The first is reliable high-speed internet because the entire check-in process is done completely online. And the second is a copy of your most recent invoice. The invoice is vital because it's going to have all the information that you need in order to start that check-in process. So before I show you how to do your Carnival check-in, I first want to show you how to locate your invoice. So to do that, we've got to go over to our email address. Now, once you're in your email, it's really important that you look for an email from Mayfield Elite Travel. Our email address is reservations@mayfieldelitetravel.com. Now, most internet providers, or I should say email providers, allow you to do a search where you can look for a certain email. So if you were to just type in reservations@Mayfield Elite Travel, do a search, and find an email that has a subject line, your vacation invoice for confirmation number, followed by your confirmation number. Now, once you've located that, now you're on your way to a successful check-in process. Now, just so that you know, the Carnival booking number is a 6-digit alphanumeric combination. It's usually going to start with a number, and it could be like 7GF7H9, something to that extent. But it's going to be 6 characters, and it's going to have letters and numbers. Now, some of you may have found an invoice where you have a confirmation number that says TBA or TBD and something that follows it. That was just your temporary confirmation number. But once your room was booked, you should have that 6-digit Carnival booking number. Okay, so really important that you find the subject that says your vacation invoice for confirmation number with that 6-digit alphanumeric number. Now, once you find that email, you want to go over to this area right here that says, please review your invoice. Click on that. Once that is open, you now have your invoice with all the information that you're going to need in order to, again, have a successful check-in. In the invoice, we've got your confirmation number located here up at the top. The confirmation number is also located over here as well. We've got your name as we have it listed on your reservation, your date of birth that we have listed on your reservation, and a few more information that we'll go through in a minute, okay? So again, make sure that you do locate this invoice. Now, once you've got your invoice located, you can go to www.carnival.com/bookedguests, and you can create an account or log into your current Carnival account. Now, if you don't want to do the login process, you can actually skip that by going to the bottom where it says Organizer Access. When you click on Organizer Access, you're just going to need a few things in order to get the reservation check-in process started without actually having to go through all the trouble of setting up a Carnival account. So by clicking on Organizer Access, you'll get a little box that looks like this. This is where it's going to be really, really important that you have the invoice. The booking number, the last name, date of birth, ship name, and sale date are all located on that invoice. So let me show you where each of those items are. Again, that's booking number, last name, date of birth, ship name, and sale date. So coming back to the invoice over here, what we have is, again, the confirmation number at the top is the same thing as your booking number. Your last name, as we have it, is located here. Your date of birth, as we have it, is located here. Ship name and departure date is the sale date. Now, if for any reason the name that we have listed on your reservation or the date of birth that we have listed on your reservation are not what is currently on your passport or your legal identification, that may cause issues with you being able to board the ship. So it's really important that that information is the same as what we have. If any of that information is not the same as what's listed on your invoice, it's very important that you contact us right away so that we can update your reservation. And underneath this video, we're going to actually have an email address where you can send those inquiries, okay? So again, that information gets all listed here, and then you click submit. Once you do that, you're going to be taken to a page that looks like this. It should have your first initial and last name and first initial and last name of any of the other passengers in the room with you. You're now going to click on the area that says online check-in. Now, there's also all these other little fun areas here, and we'll definitely get to those, but let's start with the online check-in. So when you get to the online check-in page, it's going to ask you if you want to check in for all guests or if you want to check in for yourself only. So I don't know if the screen cut out, so I'm going to say that again. It seemed like my computer was loading. So once you get onto this site, you can either check in for all guests or you can check in for yourself only. This is up to you, just depending on how you and your roommates have decided to work this out. I'm going to go ahead and check in for all guests. Okay, when you get here, it's going to ask you for, to verify your name. You can add a middle name if you would like to. You can also add, you can't add, but you can just verify that your last name is correct, your gender is correct. That's something that if it's not correct, you'll have to contact us to change. Your date of birth, you can also edit in there as well. If you're a woman, it's going to ask you if you're pregnant. You can say yes or no to that. And then it's also going to ask you for your email address, phone number, and also an emergency contact. So all of that must be listed. For the citizenship information, okay, so it's going to ask you what country of citizenship are you? What country of residence are you? And then it's going to ask you for the type of document that you're going to be using for boarding the ship. If you're using a passport, you're going to need to have that information with you in order to do your check-in. If for any reason you have all the information but your passport, you could always put birth certificate just so that it will let you through the process. But don't forget to go back and actually add in your passport details later. Also, another note about the passport, it's really important that your passport is valid during the entire length of your cruise. So that's really important. Carnival actually asks that your passport is valid 6 months from the day that you return from your cruise. So that's a really important thing to note. Okay, and for some reason my screen got a little stuck, but seems like it's coming back. Carnival.com is just a little bit slow right now. Okay, so my citizenship information is finished because I did put that I was using a birth certificate. One more thing I want to note about the citizenship information, you can use a passport card. The passport card is about the size of your driver's license. If you happen to have that, you can use it again, as long as it's valid, but then still has to have 6 months on it from the return date. But you can also use that in order to board the ship as well if you do have a passport card. Okay, so next question it's going to ask is, are you flying in for your cruise? That's a very simple yes or no question. If you're from Southern California like I am and you're going on our Ensenada cruise, the answer to that may be no. But if the answer to that is yes, it's now going to ask you some other questions. How are you planning to get to the pier? If you pick here that you're doing a Carnival airport shuttle, okay, it's going to now ask you for your flight information. So again, make sure that you do have your flight information available as you're doing this check-in process. Along the way, if you're missing any information, you can always stop where you're at and come back later. The whole check-in process does not have to be done in one setting. And if you stop and come back later, it's going to remember all the information that you did put in already. So let's go back because we're not really flying in for our cruise. So we'll just make both of those no. And I'm going to get there from my own personal vehicle. Okay, it says, would you like us to apply the travel information enter for all guests booked? I'm going to go ahead and say yes, but the answer could be no. Again, it just depends on how you and your roommates plan to do your check-in for the cruise. Guess no is the answer this time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and continue. And I guess a really good note is to make sure that you do this when the Carnival website is not going really slow. Okay, so then it's going to ask for all the information for my travel companion. And we're just going to go ahead and skip over that information for my travel companion right now. Let's go ahead and move down to arrival appointment. That's really important. So the arrival appointment is really important. Let's go ahead and read the little disclaimer that Carnival puts on here. It says, please plan to arrive at the cruise terminal promptly within your arrival appointment window. Checked baggage service is only available until 2 hours before the trip's published departure time. Guests arriving after this time will be responsible for taking their bags on board, okay? So really important that you choose a time slot that is convenient for you. I like to get there early so I can start the fun. So I'm going to go ahead and take this 12:30 to 1 p.m. slot. But as you can see, 3 to 3:30 is the very last slot. So if you pick that last slot, it's really important that you get there during that time. That way you don't miss the boat. Okay, now for your stateroom information, it's asking how you want your beds to be. You can either have a king bed or 2 twins. We're going to have a king. The next one is onboard expenses. So onboard expenses is how you're going to pay for everything on the ship. The ship uses a cashless system, except for in the casino. But everywhere else, your room key is actually going to be how you're going to be able to pay for things. If you want to order a drink at the bar, you want to go to the spa, all of that is done with your Carnival room key. So it's really important that you set up your account before you actually cruise. Now, you don't have to give them a credit card. You can do cash. But here's the rules with cash. If you're going to do cash, you need to give them a lump sum of cash at check-in. I believe the amount is about $200. And you're only going to be able to spend about $160 to $180 of that. Because as you get close, they're going to stop your spending and ask for more cash. So if possible, it's good to use a credit card or even a debit card in order to make sure that your fun can continue to happen. If you do use a credit or debit card, just know that when you get on the cruise, they're going to do a temporary authorization, usually of about $200, just to make sure that you do have the money to spend. But once you get home from the cruise, that amount is going to fall off. And if you don't spend anything, then you won't be charged. The only thing that you will be charged for if you haven't paid already is your gratuities. The gratuities are about $12 per person per day, give or take, and you can prepay those through us, or that will be something that you will be billed for at the end of the cruise. So to set up your account, you're going to click on Open a New Account. Once you click on Open a New Account, you can decide if you're going to open it with a credit or debit card, or if you're going to open it with cash. We're going to click on Credit Debit. Okay, you're going to have to read and agree to the terms and conditions, select who is agreeing to the terms and conditions, and click Accept Terms. Once you have a little bit delay on my camera there, on my computer there. Once you have agreed to those terms, you can also read this information here. There's more information that Carnival is providing to help you to understand how this process works. But you need to enter your zip code, a valid credit card, expiration date, and the security code in order to get that set up. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip that process for now, but once you do get that set up, it's also going to ask you if this is going to be the onboard expense for just you yourself, or if it's going to be for you and all of your roommates. And so that's what you can decide. So if it's just going to be for you, then you just put just for you, and your other roommates will not have access to the card information that you have provided. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Once that part is done, you're going to do your cruise ticket contract. Your cruise ticket contract is a legal binding document between yourself and Carnival. So it is very important that you read it. In fact, it says on here to read carefully. This is everything that you are agreeing to by stepping on their ship. And yes, by stepping on their ship, you are agreeing to their terms and conditions. So again, please read it. It outlines what you can and cannot do in that room. And if for any reason you violate those, it tells you what the consequences may be, which could include fines. So I really encourage all travelers to read that. But we are going to make sure that we give you lots of information for your cruise as well to help you to plan ahead. So we'll make sure that you know a lot of the do's and don'ts. But again, the cruise contract, you really do need to read because it is a legally binding document between yourself and Carnival Cruise Line, again, by stepping onto their ship. So once you've read all of this, which believe it or not, I have read before, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom if your computer wants to scroll, and you're going to click your name and you're going to accept the terms for yourself. And if you are checking in for your roommate, then you would check the terms for both. But if your roommate needs to read his or her own terms, then do not accept the terms for them, just accept for yourself. And then you'll get to the summary page. So this check-in summary, I would encourage you to look at. Anywhere that you see this exclamation point means that it needs your attention. It's not done, it's incomplete. Your goal is to have these green check marks all the way through. But again, if for any reason you skipped your passport information, make sure you do go back and take care of that. That's a really, really important thing. Make sure that your bed preference is set the way that you want it as well. And then once all of these green checks are done, you are done with your Carnival online check-in. Now, I do want to show you guys some bonus information, which we saw earlier. So I'm going to click over here on View Details. And again, my computer is going a little bit slow, so just bear with me if you're hearing my voice right now but not saying anything. And actually, that isn't working. So let's do another one. Let's click on Online Check-in. Let's see if that works better for us. Oh, that one was beautiful. Okay, so click on Online Check-in. And then once you're on the Online Check-in, let's go ahead and click on check-in. Now this is the check-in summary. I think this is actually the only way to go back. Yay, okay. Finally working. Okay, so when you click on this area, now you're able to see some more information about your cruise. You can see your itinerary. So this is the departure time, when you're going to be in your destination, as well as when you return back to the port. You can also click on these to kind of explore the port, see some information about what's going on. My activities are any activities that you have registered with Carnival. So if you did a pre-cruise excursion or post-cruise excursion, that would be in here. To look at those options, you would go ahead and click on Shop Activities. My guests are here, and my billing is here as well. And that for everybody should be blank because you don't have any transactions that you have been billed for as of yet, not until you get on the cruise. Now we're going to click on My Cruise Manager. By clicking on My Cruise Manager, this is going to take you back to the area that we saw in the beginning. This is where you can look at shore excursions. So if you do want to do some fun things in Ensenada or in Dominican Republic or in the Bahamas, wherever you're going, you can look at all the excursions there. You can also purchase Carnival's Cheers program or Bottomless Bubbles program. The Cheers program is about $52 per person per day, and that is 15 alcoholic beverages a day of $15 or less. Or you can do the Bubbles program, which is unlimited soda and juices throughout your cruise. And I believe that one's around $9 a day. You can also shop and reserve spa appointments. So yes, there is a spa on every ship. You can get a massage, a facial, pedicure, whatever your heart desires. Carnival's got it for you. You can make your reservation here or when you get on the ship. Also, internet packages. So if you do want to be able to get Wi-Fi on the ship, you can go ahead and reserve that now. The Fun Shop. The Fun Shop is what it is, fun. If you want to order a bottle of Jack Daniels or a bottle of Hennessy for your room, Now is the time to do it. Order it now, pay for it now, and it'll be there whenever you ask for it to be delivered. There's also specialty dining options. And so if you are interested in any of those, you can click on the chef's table to find more information on that. Also down here is a nice link to Carnival's frequently asked questions section on their website, where you can browse more information about your cruise. Now is also a great time for us to take you to our website, which is biggamecruise.com. By going over to biggamecruise.com, you can find out more information about your coming cruise for this year. We have our 2018 cruise lineup. You can click on any one of these to see current information and updates about the cruise that you're going on. You can also view our blog. Our blog is great because this is where we're now going to be archiving the different emails that we send out to you guys. So pretty soon, this exact video is going to be loaded onto our blog as well. So make sure that you are checking out our blog. You can also visit our frequently asked questions section on our website, which has a ton of questions that are here designed in order for you guys to get the information that you need to help prepare for your cruise. We're always updating and adding more questions on here, so be sure to take a look at this as well. Also, by clicking on our Follow Us button, you can learn all about our different social media channels where you can connect with us, including our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. We've got YouTube. So we definitely are always looking for great ways to connect with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed learning all about the check-in process with Carnival. We're excited to be welcoming you onto the ship, and we're so grateful and thankful that you have chose to travel with Mayfield Elite Travel. Have a great day.